Hey guys, so we are just gonna react.
Yeah.
Like, we are not even going to waste your time. We are here to react on the Anikulapo movie, and we're just gonna jump straight into it.
Yep.
Hey, what do you think about it? What do you think about the movie?
My overall feel of the movie,
Yeah.
I feel like it's a great movie.
Okay.
Like it's a kind of movie that you take to the cinema. Yeah, I think it was.
Yes,
it
but
was,
I think
it was
they
worth
must have gotten better money with Netflix though, for them to go straight to Netflix. Must have been a better deal. Like, I feel like the movie was really nice. At first, we were a bit skeptical because it was in Yoruba throughout. Although with Netflix, you can actually change it to sound in English, but it's not as authentic. And we're like, oh my god, like this is the kind of movie that you can't multitask. You can't watch the movie and be pressing your phone. You can't zone out. If not, you miss what they're saying.
Unless you understand the Yoruba language.
Yes, and we don't understand Yoruba, so that's just something to look out for. But generally, yes, it's a really good
great movie. What was your thought on the animated bed? That's a color.
That was like the first one of the
point
first
of notice.
Scenes. Yes, the Alaka movie. First of all, I feel like Nigeria is now trying with like their
3D animation.
Yes, it's now looking more authentic, more real. It's now more quality. Like, yes, it was really good. I like the Alaka bed. But I have something to say about the Alaka bed, but later on. Or should I just say later on? Yes, I think later on. So let's just follow this chronologically.
Yeah. Okay, there's this part where Saru got into like the town. You know, he's a Aswefi tailor, right?
Weaver, right? So it's just like he sews a type of Yoruba traditional material. Yes.
So he went into this town and then he met this old lady.
Yes.
You know, who was striking him at some point.
Yes, and the old lady is Shola Shobowale, and to be very honest, I feel like she just played the role of a sugar mommy.
Yes.
Because it's like she literally took care of this guy that was homeless and then just appeared in his room one day and just started sleeping with him. And it's so funny how I was having a conversation with my sister and she was telling me that there are people like that too. Like, they can't stay with a husband. They just want to make their money and be serviced by young men. And that was literally what it is. And the funny thing is that Mr. Macaroni in the movie warned Saru of the woman, she's a man eater.
That's her routine. Like when
that's her routine. When she employs a new young blood, she's going to sleep with you, give you food, and she will now be giving him food, like the biggest food, to make it obvious that this is her chosen one for this moment.
Exactly.
It's just crazy, but it really ties in.
And it happens in today's setting. It happens.
Yes.
Okay. Well, there's this part where the queen, that's the third queen, right? Slept with Saru. That's what's her name? Arolake.
So basically, this movie is about Arolake and Saru. Arolake is the third queen. Right? Was she the third or the fourth?
She was the third.
Yeah, she was. The king had 4 wives.
4 wives, right?
Yes, there was a queen mother that didn't to involve herself in all the squabbles and everything.
Yes.
And then Arolake, for some reason, we told you that Saru was an Aswefi weaver, so he got a deal to come and give those fabrics to the queens, and then that's where he first laid eyes on Arolake, and Arolake laid eyes on him. Just wants to see in the night when he was going back. Okay, no, I think it's the second time when he was going back. She just jumps out of the jungle and literally rapes him.
That's the part of the movie I don't just get.
That's the guy, because it's like, who is this, man or beast? And then she comes out, pushes him down, jumps on him, and starts to have sex with him. And
all of a sudden,
we are seeing boobs all around. We are seeing everything all around. I'm like, it's very confusing.
Like, there's no talk leading up to that scene.
Yes, there's no talk, and it's like, how does it work? How does like a person just come out of the jungle, push you down, and sorry, but how does this thing just rise up immediately to be raped?
Olori.
Do you understand? Like, it was just up till now, I'm still trying to wonder the jungle, because he wasn't expecting her. They hadn't planned to meet in the jungle. She just came out of nowhere as if she was a witch.
They only gave themselves eye. At the scene that they saw. So the next thing we are seeing
is that she's raping him, and this is actually standing to be raped. It's very confusing.
Bruh.
So that was the major error we noticed in the movie.
Yeah.
Because we were like, how does that happen?
Yeah.
Anyway,
That's like the part of the error that sticks to you, like after watching the movie. The most, like,
yes, because up till now we can't still it doesn't still make sense in our brain. Basically.
Yeah, every other error I can't remember, but this particular one
really stood out. Up to now, I don't know how she was able to have that kind of man strength to pull him down.
Honestly.
And how she was able to do all that.
Exactly. Okay. As for the issue of polygamy, what was your, like, this movie kind of like talks about polygamy,
yes,
and the issues, the potential issues that you have from polygamy. So
so we could see that the king had 4 wives, and we just saw the issue with, like, okay, maybe a wife being infertile and the insult she got from the other wives not wanting their children to associate with. It was just a mess, and I could see how it pushed Arolake to be delusional. Because I feel like she wasn't mentally stable. If she was mentally stable, if she had love, first of all, she won't cheat on her husband. She won't leave her husband for Saru, and even though she was the favorite wife of the king, but I just feel like polygamy just breeds a lot of enmity. It opens room for unnecessary drama that is not necessary.
Hatred, it breeds all those things. So.
So it's I'm not in support of polygamy. It's too messy.
Just our opinion.
Yes.
Yeah, there was this part where the businesswoman, what's her name? The lady, the actress.
I don't know her name, but she's Shola.
Shola, she acted as the businesswoman. There was this time when she noticed that Saru was like
sleeping with Arolake, the 3rd queen.
Yeah, and then she was warning him that you are biting more than you can chew.
Yes, and she was like, I'm scared for you, Saru.
She started to keep her distance.
Yes, she did not want to be an older man that did not care about sleeping with a younger guy. Started to keep her distance because she knew that Saru, there must be something wrong with you. You are biting more. Like, actions have consequences. You are taking what is not yours, and she didn't even. She gave him her distance. She didn't even want to associate herself with Saru anymore. And honestly, I feel like that was the best thing for her, because that guy could have tied her in, because she's the one that literally gave him accommodation and first job in that place. So she just distanced herself.
The queen's, it was the second or first queen's daughter that was also crushing on Saru.
The second queen.
Second queen, okay. She liked Saru, and then at that point she was like curious as to where the queen was always going to every night. Yes,
by the queen he means Arolake. Arolake, after raping Saru, Arolake started going to visit Saru every single night.
It was a routine.
And then obviously this girl is, I think, kind of close in age with Arolake, even though they are not mates. So she used to like borrow beads from her, clothes, mirrors, things like that. And I think she went in there one day to like get beads because she wanted to like attract Saru. And then she realized that Arolake left and came, and she asked Arolake, where are you going to? And Arolake says she has the moon is her lover. Literally. And that moon, I think, just stands for Saru.
Just Saru, yeah.
So I think she became suspicious, and that's also one of the downsides of polygamy. You just have people in your business, and they will try to poison Arolake at one point.
Several times.
Yes, they tried to poison her at several times because of polygamy. So I feel like that just ties into the fact that polygamy is not good.
It's highly problematic.
Yes, it's too.
And I think it's selfish.
Yes, it is.
Part of the
because
man,
it's just a case of one man eating his cake and having it. Not having to deal with one woman and go to another woman when it pleases
him.
Yes, that's what literally what it means.
And I wonder what Arolake was thinking when every night she goes to meet Saru. Like,
yes, it did not make sense.
Like,
it's one thing.
Did you ever feel like you will never be caught?
Yes, like it's one thing to cheat on your man. It's another thing to be leaving the house every single night and think you will not be caught. That's why I said she had to be delusional. She had to be really sad and messed up somewhere. But I think that's what happens to you too when you are giving away in marriage to someone you don't love. You are just looking for an out. Especially when you don't now have children, and so you're insulted by the remaining wives. Like, it was a mess.
It was a real mess.
It was a real mess.
There is this part where he was now caught. That was Saru. When he was trying to sneak out with Arolake.
Yes, so Arolake decided that they should elope. And then for some crazy reason, Saru agreed.
Yeah.
It's one thing to be sleeping with a man's wife. It's another thing to be sleeping with her and then decide to run away with her. And then he said yes, and then they were...
That's the height of abomination.
That's the height. And then she had gone back to the palace.
And the king's wife, for that matter.
The king's wife, not even an ordinary man's wife. The king's wife in those times. And it was Oyo Kingdom. Oyo Kingdom was a really great kingdom.
Yes.
And then they caught him. That was crazy.
And beat him to death.
They literally beat him to death. And I'm really glad that Arulake did not come out. I'm really glad that she hid. Yeah. Because they would have
caught her as well. Because she was just on her way to meet him so that they eloped together.
Yes. And then she hid. So they didn't catch her.
But
they
the
just
guards got there before. Yeah.
Yes, which was a very, that was a lucky thing that happened to her. Like, and that's where we see
that was our second chance
again.
Yeah.
Is it Akala? The Akala bed.
It's Akala bed, yes.
Yeah, that's why you see the Akala bed, because apparently in the olden days, the Oyo Empire, they believe that you don't bury the dead, you keep them in an evil forest.
Yeah.
If it's not their time to go, a bed called the Akala bed will come and it will resurrect you. But if it's your time to go, or if you deserve to
let you pass on.
And so this bed comes and this bed asks Saru, like, why is he dead? And Saru told him, and because the reason he died is that he tried to take another man's wife. Akala said, you don't deserve to die.
Don't deserve to leave.
Yes. But fortunately, you don't deserve to leave, yes. Yeah. But fortunately for him, for Saru, Arulake
was in one corner
Arulake was in one corner watching, and then when the bed tried to kill him back, she literally stoned the bed. That was another error, baby.
Yeah, right?
Because I was just like, first of all, like, let's rewind back. Like,
yeah.
You are a bed that is so powerful that it can resurrect the dead or let people pass on to the next life. How is it that someone can literally stone you and you would like run away like a chicken?
Akala lose God.
The guy lose God. The guy don't get powerful. Like I said, that was the resurrection spirit.
Power he gets.
As in, that was quite okay. So that can be the second error that we saw in the video, because it's like, how do you? Although I was having a conversation with somebody, and the person said that the bird is not used to seeing people in the evil forest apart from dead people.
Dead people, okay.
And so obviously it's not expecting to see another living being that would
close to the dead.
Yeah, so that's what the person said. So I get that, but still I just feel like if you are an all-powerful bird that resurrects, why is a stone chasing you? Why you not chase them too? And then when it goes away, it leaves its portion that it uses to raise people from dead. Yes, and I think this actually brought us to the second phase of the movie. Yes. Because the first phase was just about a guy that came into a new town and then got a job, started sleeping with an old woman, and started sleeping with the king's wife. But then this second one launched us to the second wave, with which we saw
where Saru got his second chance.
Yeah, he got his second chance
to relieve all his wrongs, right?
Yeah, I don't really know if he really saw it as a second chance.
He didn't see it as a second chance.
He just saw it as, okay, I got a second chance to leave, but not as to what he was going to be doing in that second chance. And yeah.
So on their way to look for place to settle, they met up with the hunter.
Yes, they met up with the hunter
who welcomed them into his home,
and
or that gave them food and shelter. Along the line, the hunter lost his son.
Yes, that was a turning point for Saru. Because initially they were just poor people that were what do they call it? Is it escapees?
Refugees.
Refugees, basically, because they had run away from home. They were far from home.
Yeah.
And that's when it tied in for Arulake. Okay, this bird was going to use this secret potion to resurrect Alaka. To resurrect this bird was going to use the secret potion to resurrect Saru. And she's like, okay, so if you can use the secret potion, it means that Saru can be using the secret potion to be resurrecting people that die from the dead. And then she tells him this. He literally uses it, just hits it on the boy's head that says, arise. And then that begins his whole profession of raising people from the dead.
Yeah, and through that he became very rich, popular,
Because the thing about human beings, I think it really taught us the things about human beings, that human beings are appreciative of people that benefit them. It's just the same way like rich men. People bring gifts to rich men. The fact that you are rich and you already add value to your society, people just generally bring gifts. And so I don't think per se he was charging. I just think in just gratitude, people started to bring their farm produce, yams, rams, like so many things to him, and he became a wealthy man.
He was honored.
Yes,
in that
he was
town,
honored.
He was.
Yes, so don't forget.
Even the king invited him to his palace.
Yes, I think when you also see something that you don't know about, like you typically they're used to the gods resurrecting, and then they're seeing a man, so they try to actually find out.
Yeah, the name of that town is Ilu Ojumo.
Oh yes, Ojumo town, and
different from the Oyo.
Yes, different from the Oyo, but they were also Yoruba.
They were also Yoruba.
Yes, Yoruba speaking tribe, and the king tried to find out like what's the source of your power, but I think that the elders were a bit greedy, the chiefs.
Yeah, right.
They didn't really want to find out because they felt like he was a gem. Let's not over patronize him or over ask him questions so that he will not leave. Let's just preserve this gem that has come. And I think that was their greatest mistake because it made him full of himself.
Yeah, and then they also questioned like the use of his powers too.
Yes, like can we examine this power? And then he obviously told them that if you question this power, you die.
Yeah, like the aspects where I feel like the use of his powers are abused was there was a case where an old woman was already tired of life. She wanted to pass on.
Yes.
But her children and her children wanted her to keep living.
I
feel like someone that wants to die.
Like, why did you bring me back? But the aspect of the selfishness was on the children.
Part of the children, yes.
Because he did not know her. How was he to know that she did not want to come back to life?
Yes.
Yes, but I think we should really talk about when we started to see Saro's true color. Yes. I feel like we had seen his true color from the fact that he was sleeping with an old woman without any resistance and was sleeping with the king's wife. But when we really saw that he was a terrible person was when he started to, obviously in the olden days they had like maid servants that would help,
he started
and now that they had
for
become
the
rich,
wife's maid.
Yeah, so she would be bent over and he would just be looking at her bum. It's like, are you funny? This is a woman that literally brought you back to life, saved you, and also gave you your riches, because if not for her idea, you would never have thought of the fact that she was, that you could bring somebody back from the dead. Yes. Because she had it. She could have even taken that power for herself. She could have been the rich one. But I think just because it was a patriarchal society, she knew that it would be best for him to be the one to resurrect people.
Exactly.
And then he goes on to raping.
Yeah, he raped the maid, and then she got pregnant.
Then he married her.
And he married her as a second wife.
Can we talk about
his reaction? And then he justified. Yeah, when the wife, that's Arolake, found out, he tried to justify it as we don't have a child because Arolake was infertile. So he now justified his lustful action and the result of it to him wanting a child.
And I feel like he really went about it the wrong way because like if you really think about it, yes, I know they lived in a society where polygamy was common.
It was an thing,
But why didn't he, this was someone that thought that he was her own.
Yes.
Like she thought he was her own. Like why didn't he have a conversation? See, eventually we would have to expand our household. We need to leave a legacy. Why didn't he just discuss with her? Then he and her would then agree on a woman that would come in and bear the children for them. True. Just like Sarah in the Bible and with Abraham, and then Hagar was the person. I feel like that was the way to go if you really love that. But I feel like he was really a selfish dude.
Yes.
It's crazy. And then
he was a promiscuous guy.
He was promiscuous. He was promiscuous and he was selfish.
Yeah.
And then it shows us a few years later.
He married another wife.
And then we found out that he married another wife. Aroke is still childless. The girl's name is JeyPee. Yes, he married another wife. Aroke is still childless, and everybody now is kung-fu towards her. It's
they started despising Arolake.
Yes, and her husband neglects her. She has literally turned from the favorite wife of the king to the least favorite wife of Saro and the most scorned. Like she literally went from frying pan
when she was lamenting, everything she has been going through to Saro. She said that she used to be the favorite. Yes, that she missed being the favorite wife of the king.
Yes.
Now she has become, the least favorite to Saro.
Yes.
She was really lamenting, and that was a moment to show that there was something wrong right from the foundation of how they met. Because I feel like it wasn't love, it was lost.
It was definitely lost. And if you notice, in the beginning when they used to communicate, you would see that they didn't have conversations. They were just sleeping. But babe, there's something important that we missed about the nudity part. Like, honestly, I felt like they could have passed the message of the fact that they were sleeping together without us having to see Saro's bum bum and Arolake's boobs.
Yes.
They were able to depict the fact that he was sleeping with Shola Shobowale in the movie.
That's the sugar mom.
The sugar older lady. Yes. But they didn't show her boobs. They didn't show any naked part of her body.
So
but
why show?
I'm just trying to think of why, and I feel like Nigerians are trying so hard to meet up with Western standards. I feel like that was something they did to try and appeal to a more international audience. Because in those audiences, they are used to just bearing nudity. It all. But everybody just felt like you could have conveyed the message without showing those parts of their body. And it was just, that was a bit off.
It was off, You didn't show the other one's news. Why show this one's news? Like, you'd have been consistent if you were showing from the beginning.
So in all this story that we've built up, there's a climax of it all, which is where everything went downhill for Saro.
And there's this part where he told Arolake's secret to the wife, third wife.
To the third wife. Yes, that was when they were showing that she used to be a queen. She's infertile. Like he was just an all-round terrible guy. In my opinion. So, babe, can we talk about where it went downhill for Saro?
Okay. Now the king of Ilu
Ojomu.
Ilu Ojomu. His son died.
Yes, and obviously they had. Even though the king had permitted Saro to live in his town for a long time, the king had not personally experienced any deaths that needed Saro's help.
Yes.
And then so this was the first time that someone that mattered to the king's son, died. And finally, this person that we've allowed to stay in our town, become rich in our town, even though it's a stranger, we finally need your help. We've been good to you, and we call you to our palace and tell you to resurrect our son, just the way you've been resurrecting
other people. Yes, exactly.
And guys,
so Saro was, told that whatever you need, whatever you want, you are free to request of the king.
Yes.
So just resurrect the king's son. And guess what Saro asked for? The king's daughter. Like, God, I knew that Saro was just, and it was the greedy.
way he said it. He was just like, and the king was just appalled. Like, obviously, a king's daughter is going to marry another prince. That's just a royal person, son of royal blood. This is someone that already has 3 wives, and just because of his greed and because he's trying to take advantage of an opportunity, he's asking for something that is not his own right to ask for.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think after all the squabbles and everything, it was just
everyone
that
in the palace was disappointed at Saro's request.
Yes, but everybody also knew that in scale of preference, like obviously life outweighs marriage and so they were just like, okay, we all have to give in to this thing so that the
heir of the king can be alive.
But you know that Saro left when they were still trying to.
It was an inconclusive negotiation. So.
Yes, because he was just feeling pompous, like they'll still call for me, like I'm not needed, let me walk out. He walked out, and then that's where we saw 2 people like gossiping.
Yes.
Because obviously news from the palace would always reach the citizens through gossip, through the servants and stuff. And unfortunately for Saro, Arolake was in the midst of those people that were gossiping. And then that's where she got to hear that that Saro wanted to get married to
the king's daughter.
And that was kind of terrible for Saro because I think that was the last straw that broke the camel's back for Arolake. And then she goes home, she packs her things. And Saro is now called that they've agreed.
No, Saro at first, go home and then he asked for
Arolake. And the way he dismissively just was like, where's Arolake? And then they didn't find her, and then he was just like, whatever. Like, he just focused on the fact that, he's getting the king's daughter.
Wife, yes. And
then they call him, and then he goes to raise the prince from the dead. Baby, what happened?
Saro's power failed him.
He failed him. He did all the trick. In fact, he started to scream, "Arise!
Alright.
Arise!"
And everybody in the palace was like, they got tired and irritated.
Yes, he got tired. And then he started to think, what's happening? This is something I've done for years, and it hasn't failed me. And then he thought of Arolake.
Yeah.
And then that's when they showed us the scene that not only did Arolake pack her things and go, she poured away basically the potent, the magic that raised those people from the dead, and she filled it with ashes. And she left. I loved it.
That was payback is a bitch, man.
Payback is a bitch. And then so that's when they knew that. So I think that they didn't kill Saro because he didn't raise the king's son. They killed him because you're not capable of doing this thing, and you have a right to ask for something that is an abomination to us. Like, why do you want the king's daughter? I think that's why they killed him. So it was not because out of anger. If he had just said, okay, I want 2/3 of your land, or maybe 10 acres of your land, they would have been like, oh, this is a highly thing, but it's worth it. And if he feels
if they are angry, they would have banished him. Nobody would have killed him.
But for the fact that you were so pompous, you even walked out of the king. I just knew that.
Shakara.
And this time, guess what? There was no Arolake to save
him.
He was shot. He was put in the evil forest, and this time Alaka came. But baby, what did Alaka do? Akala. Sorry, I keep telling you Alaka. What did Akala do?
Yeah, this time he didn't lose guard.
He looked left and right because he don't want to make person stone him. And take his magic potion again.
that was like a funny moment of the movie.
Yes, that was a funny moment of the movie. So was like, because they're like, this guy no one lose guard. No one person made person take his potion again. And this time, Alaka was sent to the grave.
Akala.
Saro was sent to
the grave. Yes.
Forever and ever, and no one was there to save him.
Yeah. So babe, the lessons. Yes,
there are so many lessons that we learned from this. The first lesson for me was the fact that at every point Saro was warned.
Yes.
When people discovered that he was sleeping with the old lady, Mr. Macaroni in the movie warned him that this woman is a man eater. This is what she does. She would sleep with you and then she would turn you into a slave when she jumps onto the new person.
Yes.
And he still kept on sleeping with her, especially because of his professional gain from her.
Yes.
And then also when he was sleeping with Arolake, this old lady that he was sleeping with warned him, you are biting more than you can chew. Actions have consequences, and he did not listen. So that was like my first lesson from the movie.
Saro was promiscuous. He was greedy.
Yes.
He was very, very greedy.
Yes.
And what else? Yes, I
think
he was a betrayer.
He was a betrayer, and that he showed us
biting the hands that feeds you.
Yes, biting the hands that feed you, because it's like literally he did that. He was also a very ungrateful guy.
Very ungrateful.
He was selfish. And then let's not forget that he was very prideful. And they literally said it in the movie, like,
it was pride that was the major thing. It was
pride that was the major thing to his father. Basically, that's what they even said. The pride comes before the fall. Like he literally fell because of his pride. That's why we said they didn't kill him because he
pride and greed
the majorly. Yes, he was greedy, and it just really also showed. Okay, so Arolake is not without reproach, in my opinion. Yeah. I feel like it's the stuff of thinking that the grass is greener on the other side. But sometimes the grass is green where you water it. Okay, yes, you are an infertile woman, unfortunately. But let's face it, you are rich because you are married to the king. You are the favorite wife of the king. The king in general treats all his wives well. It's just that she was the favorite, which was her. And she was well provided for. There was nothing wrong. But she decided to go for something she did not know. Like, she went because of lust, in our opinion. I feel like she did not have the full equipment to know if this was a good guy or a bad guy.
Someone that had a sugar mommy.
Yeah, someone that had a sugar mommy literally before. So I feel like she didn't know the guy. She just went for the next thing she saw and thought it was the next best thing. But it was not the next best thing. In fact, it was worse. She should have just stayed in that palace and just enjoyed her life. Look at the way she was looking old after like 5-6 years.
What do you think about that makeup?
I think that initially I was thinking that they made her too old. But then I think they did make her too old. But I think they were trying to show the suffering, the neglect and everything in her face. So she aged faster, because every woman, like, once you're neglected, once you're not loved and you're suffering, it will show on your body.
On you physically.
You end up looking like 20 years older than you actually are. So Saro, that was older than Arolake in the movie, years later started to look way younger than her. Like, it just didn't make sense.
He was just nourishing himself, but neglecting Arolake.
So yeah, all in all, I think it was a really good movie.
Very good movie.
It's the kind of movie that
you should check it out.
A lot of Nigerian movies, you don't say, oh, what are the lessons, but there's just so many things to pick that I was just like, it's really, 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 really valuable, and it's something that everybody should watch, and let us know your opinions. For sure. So if you watch the movie and you think we missed anything, definitely leave it down in the comment section below. What were the lessons you learned? What were the points or the parts that stood out to you that maybe we didn't mention? Yes, we'd like to know. And with all that being said, we'll see you in our next one.
See you in our next video.
Peace. Bye.